Good afternoon again. It is Wednesday, April 1st, and this is our writing lesson for today. Before we get started, I have a couple of shout outs and things I'd like to read to you. So the first is from Gianna, and this is our writing that we did last week about who our family consists of. So she wrote her paragraph and sent to me, so I'll read that to you. It says, "My family consists of my mom and my sister. My mom is smart and pretty. My sister Elsie is nice and smart." Excellent job, Gianna. Love it. All right. And let's see. We also have, so we started how-to paragraphs this week, right? So on the first day, on Monday, I read to you Zinnia's flower garden, and we talked about the steps that Zinnia went through to plant her flower garden. And we use transition words like you see here. So we have first, second, then, next, and finally. And then yesterday we read Pizza at Sally's, and I asked you to talk about the steps that Sally went through to make her pizza, right? And then we made a list. Now my list looks different than your list. So my list, these are things that I am good at, that I consider myself an expert, that I can teach others. Because we don't want to write a how-to paragraph on something that we can't do very well ourselves, because how are we going to teach someone else how to do it then? So here was my list. I said peanut butter and jelly because I make one of those every day for Dylan's lunch. The 3 ways to read a book, or different dances that I'm experienced with, like modern ballet and jazz, that I could talk about those. So I had 2 girls from my class send me some work that they did. So let me get into their portfolios here. All right, so Gianna again sent me. She actually mapped out her work. So she did like I did, and she put her transition words, and then she wrote what she would do too. So down here, Gianna wrote about how to make my bed. All right, so she wrote about how to make my bed. So here was her writing piece, right? So she says first she would fix her sheets. Second, fold my blankets. Then put my teddy bear on my bed. Next, I put my pillows on my bed, and finally, my bed is done. Excellent job, Gianna. So Gianna's next steps then could be to write this in sentences, right? Capital letters and periods at the end, all right? But this was just her rough draft. This was just her first draft, right? So now she could write it into sentences. And then Gianna, if you even wanted to add some illustrations to go with it, maybe you don't have to do an illustration for every single step, but you could if you wanted to, but that's where you could go next with that. And if you just decided, Gianna, well, I'm kind of over this one, I already wrote about it, I want to do something else, then you can look back at your list, okay, and you can pick something else to write a how-to paragraph about. So with writing, we just a lot of the pieces that we write, they're a work in progress, or maybe we decide, hey, that's not really a piece that I'm crazy about, and I don't want to publish it. I don't want to make it, perfect and add pictures and all of this, and that's okay too, right? So Gianna, you decide where you want to go from here, if you want to make sentences and do illustrations, or if you want to start a whole new piece about how to do something else. Your call, all right? Also then, I got some work from Kasaira. So she drew and labeled the life cycle of a butterfly. So this morning I read from caterpillar to butterfly to you for a read aloud. And I posted a science video through SciShow Kids that talked about the steps also. So what Kasaira actually did is zoom in here, she drew the stages of the butterfly's life cycle. You can see that, all right? She drew and labeled them. So she has the egg, the larva, and the pupa stage, and the butterfly. So see that there? Excellent. So if Kasaira, if you decide that you want to work on this further and you want to change, I know this was for read aloud and for science this morning, but you could actually use this as your writing piece. So what you could do is you could take those pictures and then you could use that picture and those labels to write sentences about how a caterpillar changes into a butterfly. So you could say, first a butterfly lays an egg on a leaf. Second, and you could go through the stages and write sentences for it. So Kasaira, if that's something that you decide you want to do next, go ahead. If not, maybe like she wants to go back to her list and say, no, I want to write about something else. I'm comfortable with where that illustration of the butterfly, the life cycle of the butterfly is, and I'm ready to move on to something else. Totally fine. But excellent job, ladies. So you decide if you're going to continue those pieces or if you're going to start a new one. I am going to model today for what I would do next if I got my transition words, I made my list, and now I'm deciding. So if you haven't made a decision yet about what you want to write about, you want to pick something and get started and see where it goes. Okay, so today I'm going to do PB and J, right? So I'm going to circle this because this is the one that I want to work on today. Now I made, go over to this side. I made a T-chart over here. It says materials and ingredients. So depending on what you're writing your how-to paragraph on will depend whether you need materials or you need ingredients. So if I'm writing about how to make like chocolate chip cookies, then I'm going to list what I need under my ingredients, right? Because ingredients are more for like recipes, right? So I'm going to use ingredients for recipes, all right? And then for like my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I might say, I think I could do materials for that, right? Because I'm not making the peanut butter. I'm not making the jelly. If I was actually making peanut butter, I would use ingredients probably for the things I need to make that. So I'm going to do this under materials. All right, make sure we can still see here. So, okay, so for my PB and J, I'm just going to say, what do I need? I need to switch up my colors here. So I need bread. Okay. And if you're not sure how to spell the word, sound it out as best you can. And you can also draw pictures. So if, I wasn't sure how to spell the word bread, I might try. And I always tell the kids in class, I am no artist. I am not great at drawing, but I try, right? I'm going to try. So that's what I hope that you are doing at home too. So I need my bread, right? And I'm going to write over here, I need 2 pieces, right? 2 pieces of bread if I'm making my sandwich. I'm going to make little notes here. I need peanut butter. I need jelly. I need a knife. Let's see. So a knife, bread, peanut butter, jelly. You know what else I think I need? I need a cutting board. When I make the peanut butter and jelly, I get out one of my cutting boards and I lay down on the counter. So then when I'm done making it, I can cut it in half on the cutting board, and then I don't cut into the counter or anything. And also any mess I make from the peanut butter or the jelly goes onto the cutting board, and then I can just put it in the sink and I don't have to wipe the counter down. So it saves me some cleaning time, which my mother will tell you that I'm not very good at cleaning up while I'm cooking or making things. So I need a cutting board. Okay. And, I need a plate, right? I need a plate to put the sandwich on when I'm done for someone to be able to eat it. Usually Dylan, right? Plate. Okay. So those are my materials that I need to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, someone like, like Gianna and Kasira's writing that they did, like their writing isn't going to really fit into like needing ingredients, right? Or needing materials. Theirs is just like steps of a process of what to follow to complete the process, right? And that's okay. So think about what it is that you're deciding that you want to write about and try to get a list of the things that you're going to need. And then moving forward, what we will do is we will take our materials or our ingredients or whatever, and then we'll organize what our how-to paragraph will actually look like. And like I said, Kasaira and Gianni, you girls decide what you want to do, what your next steps are. If you have any further questions about what I discussed in the beginning of the video for you, feel free to reach out in the dojo and I can send private videos back to help you out a little bit more. Okay, so I will see you guys back here tomorrow for our read aloud in the morning.